Hi everybody, welcome to Sprague Woodturning. My name is Jim. So this week we're going large. This is a yellow Birch Burl. It should dress out at about 14.5 by 7 high. And this is actually the largest bowl from a video that I did, 18 bowls from one burl. This is the largest one. And so this is going to be going back to the owner of the burls along with two other ones that I'm going to do for him for payment for the burl. So that's how I do it a lot of times with people in the area here. They bring me products and I'll either finish turn them or trade finished bowls for them. And that works for them and it works for me. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing with this. This should be a really absolutely fantastic bowl. You can see the chatoyance right there. So it should be a very pretty bowl. And if it needs any filling, they said that they want some green resin in it. There is a couple of spots in the very bottom here that might pose some issues, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, that's what's happening this week. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And of course, that thumbs up is absolutely crucial as well. So and share with your friends. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get glue block on the bottom of this and get this big burl done. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. I thought I'd throw this in here. I don't always show how I clean off the bottom. Of course, when these bowls dry, the bottom distorts on it. So prior to putting any glue block on the bottom of it, you have to actually clean off the anchor seal and flatten it. And if you're curious, I use a Kutzall sanding disc to do that. So that's the Hercules from Hunter Tool Systems. You'll see me use both the David Ellsworth gouge and the Hercules from Hunter Tools. This bowl is predominantly end grain, like a lot of burls are. And so yeah, the Hercules is a good choice to basically get this piece roughed out. So yeah, as you can see, you know, I'm just kind of whittling away at this, pull cuts, push cuts. The great thing about this tool is you can pretty much just use it like a gouge. It does leave a fairly rough surface. Once you get the piece round, then you can rub the bevel like I'm doing there. And you can see I'm showing the difference between the two of them. There's a huge difference. But until you kind of get that bevel running, yeah, you're going to have some tear out for sure. But you can see it's being used just like a gouge, and it does a really good job cleaning up that super, super hard yellow birch burl. And for the non-turners that watch my videos, burls are usually typically at the top of the scale as far as hardness is concerned. Anytime you have compressed grain in there like this chatoyance that you see in this bowl, that's really going to indicate that the piece is actually really, really hard. Yellow birch burl is quite dense as it is, or sorry, yellow birch is quite dense as it is. The burls are even that much more denser, and a lot of times they're really not any fun to turn because it really takes a toll on your body. So you see me doing just these little pull cuts on the inside, and you know, there's certainly the possibility of getting a catch. So, you know, until you can get that piece round and get the bevel rubbing on the surface of the wood, you have to go really careful with really with any tool, a gouge or a tool that's similar to this. So here I've switched back to the David Ellsworth bowl gouge, and
this bowl was actually very deep, so you're kind of limited by the length of your tool rest. I do need to get a longer one. That I think is a 14-inch robust tool rest that I bought, and they make really fantastic tool rests. But I was having some issues just keeping in contact with the wood with the Hercules, and I was worried about getting a catch. So in this case, the gouge would be a better choice for this, because right in that area right there, it's probably close to 5 inches of overhang. And most bowl gouges have long handles on it. And anyway, it's probably the best tool for the job here. And as I've said before, I don't use scrapers, so I use it as a scraper in the bottom base of the bowl as well.
Okay, so we ended up with a couple holes there. One right there, and on the bottom as well. So I asked Barry's his name, the guy that I got this burl from, if any resin needed to be filled, if we had to do any filling with resin, what color would he want? And he said emerald green, so that's what we're going to go with. So I've just mixed up some Pro Series here from Designer Epoxy, and what I'm going to do is fill these two voids. I think I'll put a little bit over here. I'll cover these with duct tape and then flip it over and do the other pores, and then we'll be able to get at this again tomorrow. But I am going to use a syringe. It's quite a deep cavity. I didn't think it went that deep. So there, hopefully we don't have any leaks. One little area here, I don't even know if it's worth filling, but I'll throw some resin in it. There, hopefully that won't leak. Spot here. This is going to be flattened, so I don't really care about all of that in there. Just as long as, and I mean, this may be turned away as well, but if I don't do this, then it's not going to get turned away, and well, you know how it goes. All right, that's it. See you guys tomorrow. Guys and gals, sorry. All right, so how are we doing? It has actually been 3 weeks. Jimmy took a holiday. Everything's been filled in with the emerald green on our yellow birch burl. This is a little deeper than I'd hope it would be, but it is what it is. Doesn't matter, I'm just going to cut this back. This foot needs to be a little larger anyway, and it'll be fine. All right, let's fire up the old General and get to work. The RPM is 475.
So it was good to get back to work after 3 weeks of holidays. We were down in New Brunswick, which is a province on the east coast of Canada, if you're not familiar with Canada. So we had a great visit with family and friends. It was awesome. As you can see here, I'm using the bowl gouge again. And I'm just taking really light cuts with this bowl gouge. I didn't really see the need to go back to the Hercules with this. And surprisingly, after 3 weeks, there was very little movement in the bowl. I thought there would be a lot more than there was. So there's a push cut with the flutes being straight up. If you do this cut on a natural edge bowl near the rim, make sure you go really, really slow as you get close to the bark and exit off the bark. If you're too aggressive with it, you're probably going to pull some bark off. So there you've seen me pull up the tool rest. One of the issues I have with this lathe, the locking handle for the tool rest sometimes will get in the way of the handle of the gouge. So I'll pull up the tool rest and then shear scrape, you know, an inch or two higher on the bowl than I ordinarily would. And it seems to work quite well. And as you've seen, I'm just having a ton of issues trying to get some tear out near the bark. And I think that last pass did it. So I've said this a lot before, when you're using that gouge out near the bark edge, start the tool on its side. Once you get a shoulder for the bevel to ride on, then you're fine. If you try and enter the wood with the flutes facing upwards, it's probably going to be bad for you. So here I'm further down past the top edge of the bark, so it's fine. But anytime you see me take a cut that's up right near the bark, you'll see me with the bowl gouge on its side. The other thing too, with this being predominantly end grain, you can use the gouge as a scraper like I am there, and it'll work fine. If it's a side grain bowl, not so much, but on these end grain pieces, it seems to work quite effectively. Of course, measuring thickness, just so that I don't become a member of the funnel club once again. Always important. Just use a brass brush here in the drill to clean up any loose bark, any material that's left in the bark. And then I end up switching to sandpaper 180. I've just got a sanding block there just to knock down a little bit more. You know, I want to keep that natural edge look, but you know, it needs to be good enough that you can put a finish on to seal it so that you can wash the bowl properly. And again, starting to sand it at 60 grit. I go to 320 typically on work that's predominantly wood. If it's resin, I go from 60 to 800. And again, I'm using the 3.5-inch dimple discs from sandpaper.ca. I've used a number of discs over the years, and this is by far my #1 choice. You know, I was really glad that they decided to sponsor the channel. And of course, there is a link in the description for 10% off your next order. Just use code InlayJim at checkout. They do ship to the US, so US customers, give them a go. You won't be disappointed.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put one coat of this. This is the Wood Wax Finish Clear Extra Thin 1101 by Osmo. Anyway, I'm going to put it on real nice and heavy. Then I'm going to rub it in with a drill, let it sit for a bit, and then wipe it out. And then I'll do the same thing on the outside. And then tomorrow we will put on the other Osmo, the gloss Osmo. Now, of course, this is birch, so it is going to probably suck up a lot of finish. And the fact that it's in grain is another reason why it's going to soak up quite a bit of finish as well. Now, I've been away for 3 weeks, so I do notice that this is thicker than it was before. I probably should have put an oxygen barrier on this before I left, but I forgot. I can see that it's still sucking up that finish, that's for sure. So this should penetrate deeply and give us good protection before we put the gloss on tomorrow. And I'm assuming that it's going to take a couple of coats of gloss, possibly more. Here's a white Scotch Brite pad mounted on my drill. This is Velcro. Now, of course, I could have put CA glue all along the rim here. That would certainly kind of shore it up, if you will. This bark is on here really good, so I'm not really concerned about it falling off. Just want to give it some protection for when this is being washed, because I assume that this is going to be a functional salad bowl. A rather large one. Anyway, look at the rays in that. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, I'll do the back side and then I'll get this off and I'll show you a close-up on the camera. So far, she's a winner. So there we are. Look at that chatoyance. Wow. There's the emerald green in there. Here's the back side. There's that other spot that we filled. Again, just awesome. Tons and tons of beautiful grain. Yeah, look at that there. That's just a whole lot of awesomeness, people. All right, see you tomorrow. All right, so it is the next day, and I never noticed this yesterday, but there was a little hole that needed to be filled in there. It's important that things are sealed up if you're going to be using this for salads, which I'm assuming this will be. Yeah, so anyway, I wish I had seen that yesterday, but I missed it. There's the other pieces, and you know, it's a very matte finish, that's for sure. I mean, that chatoyance is amazing stuff. So anyway, I'm just going to sand this CA glue. I tinted some CA with the pigment. Send that back, and then we will get the next coat of finish on. All right, so this is the next step. This is the Osmo Polyx Oil 3011 formula. So I was initially thinking that maybe 2 coats would do it, but since I had to sand that off, we're probably going to have to do 3. And you know, just to kind of show you, it's got just really high solids and it's very thick. And it has hardened up a bit in the 3 weeks I was gone, so this really needs to be placed into stop-loss bags, and I think you won't have any finish wasted. So anyway, I'm not going to go real heavy with this. I'm just going to do as, you know, light coats, and we'll see where we're at. There, that's probably lots. You don't need a huge amount with this product. And again, I'm using the white Scotch Brite pads on a drill. And the idea here is just to level this finish out, and then we'll put another coat on tomorrow. I'll just jump in here quickly. The lathe speed and the drill speed are something that I'm still really trying to figure out as far as using this product is concerned. So, you know, forward and reverse, you just got to keep going until you find what works. Yeah, that's probably too much. It's hard to really judge how much you need. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going at this until I get it all leveled out. I'll do the same thing on the back side, and then I'll bring it back when I'm done. All right, so there it is after the coat of the Polyx oil. Definitely going to take another coat for sure. But you know, it's really doing a good job bringing that flame alive. That, very cool. Anyway, I'm going to let this sit overnight and we will see you tomorrow. Alright, so off camera I put the second coat of the Polyx oil on. So I did that first thing this morning, so it's about 4:30 in the afternoon now. So what I'm going to do is use this white Scotch Brite pad before I put any finish on it, and I'm just going to buff the inside and the outside of the bowl, and then hopefully that will take away any little lumps and bumps that might be in the finish, and then we will put the third and hopefully final coat on. So again, you know, I'm probably putting way less on than I would if I was using the wood bowl finish or the old solid bowl finish by General Finishes. So, you know, this stuff does go a long ways. It's not cheap, so it's best to try and use it sparingly. And especially if you're using this method with the drill and the white Scotch Brite pad, you don't need a ton of this finish in order for it to work.
As you can see, if you want shiny finishes on your products, you're going to have to work for them. Shiny finishes are not easy to do. I do find that shiny finishes certainly showcase my work the best, so that's why I prefer to work with them. But as you can tell, it ain't easy.
There, you know, I think that's pretty good. I mean, you can see it's got quite a luster to it. Is it as shiny as the wood bowl finish? No, it is not. But, you know, maybe this is the way to go with it. So anyway, we'll look at it tomorrow and we will see what it looks like. I'll just do the same thing on the back side and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, good morning. All right, so there's now 4 coats on this, and you know, I'm just not real pleased with it. It's a little hard to see, but little shiny spots all kind of speckled within the bowl. Now I suspect that that's because the Polyx is starting to harden up, because it's a lot thicker than when I initially opened it, and that's on me. I should have put it in a stop loss bag, but anyway, live and learn, as they say. So what I'm going to do is just take the white Scotch Brite pad, buff the surface, and then throw wax on it, and then we can get the bottom done on this. I mean, regardless, I mean, it is an absolutely beautiful bowl. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to go with the Hampshire Sheen. You've seen me use this before. This is a food safe wax. Should really bring this out. It's lunchtime, so what I'm going to do is put this on and let it sit over lunch. And then after lunch, I'll come back out and buff it. And then we should be able to get the foot done and get this video cleaned up, or I should say get this video done. So if you use the Polyx, I'd be curious to see if you've ever cut it with anything, if it starts to harden up on you. I know it's not the norm in finishes, so I'm not too sure exactly what the thinners are that are in it. But yeah, if you use it and you've had to thin it out, I would like to hear from you. So anyway, I'm just going to put wax on the back side and we'll see you about an hour.
Here I'm using the wax wheel from the BL buffing system to buff the wax. And as you can see, I mean, it is super shiny. Very happy with that. Every now and then you got to stop in little areas that maybe the wax is a little heavy to buff those, and then it buffs out fine. So when I'm using the parting tool here, if you watch my hand, I'm wiggling it back and forth. Now that gives you a little more clearance in the cut and generates less heat, so that's why I do it that way. That's actually a homemade vacuum chuck that I made that's deeper than the ones you can get from One Way to use deep work like this. And that was, I left that whole sequence in there. It took me about 3 or 4 attempts before I got the bowl on there centered enough to, where I thought it was good enough to work with. It takes a little bit of fooling around, but it's well worth it. The vacuum chuck system, as far as I'm concerned, is the only way to go. And again, sanding, I think I started at 120 on this because of the end grain to 320.
Well, all right, let's have a last little look at this absolutely beautiful bowl. Now, this ended up being 14 by 7. It is a spectacular salad bowl. Look at the chatoyance on that. Absolutely beautiful. More of it. It just goes on for days. Inside, there's our emerald green tinted resin. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Still need one more coat on the bottom, but I'm running out of time. I gotta get this video done. There's some more of that emerald green tinted resin. 4 coats of the Polyx. I was having all kinds of issues, and I'm going to attribute it to the fact that the finish is starting to harden up. So I didn't have that problem last time I used it, but I noticed that it was thicker after come back after holidays, so that's on me. I should have put it in some sort of stop-loss bag or something like that. But anyway, I've got a new can of it, and I'll be sure to put it in one of those stop-loss bags. Again, hopefully, Barry, you're happy with this. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful bowl. And the thing is, with yellow Birch Burl, you never really know how it's going to go. Sometimes you get really spectacular pieces, like this, and then sometimes it's kind of blah. But in this case, this is absolutely a beautiful burl, for sure. Okay, so don't forget about our sponsors in the description down below. Designer Epoxy, sandpaper.ca, Starbond Adhesives, and Hunter Tool Systems. All your discount codes are down in the description down below, so please check them out. Please leave a comment. That would be totally awesome. Let me know what you think about this beautiful bowl. And next week, we're going to be doing the second hollow form I've ever done on the channel here. It's been a challenge. I'll give you a little spoiler on it. I'm basically going to combine 2 burls together to make a hollow form, and it's proved to be some challenges along the way. So anyway, make sure you come on back for that next week. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, till the next video, take care, stay safe. Don't forget that bell. See you next time.